Okay, so hi, I'm back with Venus and Partners, third house, Synastry. And you know what? I don't think that this Synastry placement gets enough credit. And I'm here to break the stereotypical norms, okay? Because I feel like we were in the Pisces age and the Aquarius age is a little bit different. Because certain things are valued more, and certain placements are dominant more. Let's just think about it like this, because usually people uplift the places that are more about the emotional houses and things of that nature, and they tend to really not focus on the downside, to like certain emotional attachments and things. They do not really look at the importance of thoughts, right? And it's really important. If you think about it like this: when dealing with male and females, a lot of times men are more about their thoughts. Like, to be compatible with a man and to understand where they're coming from a lot more and how to deal with them, you have to really be more in tune with their thoughts. Okay? Act like a woman, but think like a man. That you get what I'm saying? Okay? And usually with women or the feminine energy, you're dealing with more with emotions and feelings a lot of times. Not that men don't have feelings and emotions and women don't think or are not logical. That's not that's not the point here. The point is that a lot of times what happens between male and female relating, and I get it, because like once you start developing feelings for a person, it's very hard to restrain those feelings, but it's just something that you end up learning to do. Um, so my whole point is this: a lot of times, women or the feminine energy gets more in their emotions when they deal with relationships and when they deal with interacting with people, and that's natural with the feminine energy, and there's a natural reason why. But the masculine is more about thought process. Even though they have feelings, they're going to be more likely to think out their feelings. It's like, okay, well, I have feelings. Let me think about this for a minute. Let me get myself together. Like, I can't be tripping over this girl like this. So they're going to do things to try to restore their feelings, like create distance and things of that nature. And when they're away and they've created that distance, they pulled away emotionally. A lot of times the feminine is still in those emotions and carries those emotions. They pull away out of their emotions into their thoughts. So what you have to do, okay, you have to be someone that's able to switch from a masculine or a male, because I don't want to, leave anybody out, from their emotions to their thoughts. Like, if they switch from their emotions to their thoughts, they're thinking about you. And this is where this placement comes in handy. And this is why I say that I feel like people don't give this placement enough credit. Venus in the partner's third house, Synastry. Here, you look at Venus, and Venus, because Venus is represented by Libra and Taurus. So automatically, the Synastry connection here is everything. The Venus person's voice, okay, the way that they communicate, all right, even the way that they act, like even the way that they act, it doesn't matter, is pleasing to the third house person. Okay, this Synastry placement, they understand each other. Because if you think about it, it's not an emotional placement. People like to paint the picture of Venus being emotional. It's not emotional. This is not a moon placement. So you're not really dealing with an over or a sensitivity, a high sensitivity or oversensitivity about what another person is saying. It's more about Venus is more accepting of the third house person and how they are. And I'm not saying that you can't get your feelings hurt and things of that nature by each other. That's not what I'm saying. But it would be more about like an action that the person does versus like what they're saying. Because usually these two people are not really saying bad things to each other. Even when they get on each other's nerves, they're gonna tend to. You ever had those people or those situations to where they ticked you off or they made you mad or upset you about something, and when you had to get them together and get them put in their place, you were willing to really go beneath the belt. You was willing to really give them a few blows. You was trying to take the oxygen out their gut. You was trying to take them to another level. You was trying to take them to meet their maker with your words. Y'all get what I'm saying? With the Venus placement with in the partner's third house is going to be more about, okay, so I'm upset and everything, but I don't really want to really go below the belt with this person. I really want to spare them. I don't really want to say certain things to this person. I'm not saying that you can't get the person together or you can't use your words, but what I am saying is that you're going to tend to be more communicative. You're going to tend to want to get your point across. Like, okay, this is why I'm mad. This is why I'm angry. This is why I'm upset. Like, directly. Right? And you're going to want to do that, and you're going to want to come from a place to where you're getting your point across and there's some type of understanding and you automatically understand each other. Okay. So these two people, it's hard to break away from each other. This synastry placement is hard to break away from each other because you usually think about each other all the time. Okay. So the Venus person think, the third house person is thinking about the Venus person quite a bit because the third house person is thinking about like what the Venus person said. Like this is where things could get a little bit iffy or could go wrong if there's the communication is not clear depending on what sign that this is all in, and the Venus person says something or communicates something that the house person is not clear on, and the house person is like, dang, I need to get clear on this. The house person will overthink about what the Venus person has said or keep thinking about something that the Venus person said. And they pretty much own each other's thoughts. Now, the Venus person likes the way that the house person says things and communicates things. The Venus person wants, depending on what sign this is in, the Venus person wants the house person or likes how the house person takes care of them and takes, like, for instance, or communicates to them and says things to them. Okay, so let's say you have Venus and Pisces, and you have the house placement, someone's house, Venus and Pisces in someone's third house in Pisces or whatever. The house person may communicate to the Venus person in a Piscean way. Like they may be emotionally communicate to the Venus person. The Venus person. Like they may say things like, "Are you okay? How was your day?" And they'll listen to the Venus person and they'll take their emotions into consideration. The house person may be emotionally open or vulnerable to the Venus person, and the Venus person feels like, wow, like this is what I need. I will say this though, the Venus person wants the house person to be needy towards them. The Venus person, or if Venus is in Pisces, they want, or a water sign. The Venus in Scorpio may want the house person to be possessive over them, like in their words, like you're mine and I don't want you with anybody else, like their words, and these two people, they could be, don't get me wrong, where they have to check themselves is because they could be saying a lot of stuff that they're not going through with if there's a certain sign there. But all in all, let's go back to Venus. Venus is ruled by Libra, or rules Libra and Taurus. So this is a very good placement for partners that look to build partnerships and they communicate very well with each other. They can communicate very well with each other. If other placements are in a way, it's going to take them some time to try to trust and understand that they can trust their partner, because trust is important here. But what ends up happening is they end up creating things like spending time with family, eating, they drive around places together. They will do chores and stuff together. They will actually spend a lot of time together, because if you think about the third house is like our local interactions, right? Is our everyday interactions. How we live life every day, how, like, where we travel to. our communication styles, the way that we think. And what ends up happening is these two end up thinking about each other all the time or wanting to be around each other. It's kind of like, come with me while I go pay my bills. Come with me while I run to my mom's house. Oh, come with me while I run to my brother's house. Come do this with me. Come do that with me, because come with me out to eat so we can talk. This is the couple that you see out with each other having fun and talking, interacting. This is a crazy thing too. Like, they're out at a restaurant or whatever or something like that, and they're not really the couple that's just sitting there looking at each other in silence. They want to talk to each other. Okay. Once they realize like they like each other or they can trust each other, it gets even more. They want to talk to each other about love. They want to talk to each other about romantic things. They want to talk to each other about each other's day. They can be very detached emotionally, but still close. Believe it or not. They could be, and depends on, now if this is a water sign placement Venus is in, of course they're going to be attached emotionally, because they're going to say emotional things to each other, and they're going to emotionally validate each other, even if they're listening to each other. But they talk about everything. They can do, it's not necessarily them dirty talking to each other or whatever. It's more like in a Venusian type way, like, it can be romantic. It can be like them writing poetry to each other or saying sweet things to each other. It's more like them, more of a sensual feel. You know what I'm saying? For some people, like, it can get, they can start having that conversation in that interaction with each other, to where they talk about a lot. It's a lot that they know about each other, and they will, do like the texting where they can send little stuff about how they feel, like, I'm ready to see you, where you at, yeah, I'm ready to see you too, I missed you, like, I thought we was gonna be together this week, I thought we was gonna see each other, you know what I'm saying, like, where you at, I need you, that type of stuff. Hurry up, I'm waiting. So they can be very close. These two can be like best friends and peas in a pot. And another interesting aspect is, I don't think that they mean to do it, but when they're around each other, they can they sit up and daydream about each other. Like, their focus is heavily on each other, even if the other person doesn't really know it or not. They're always thinking about each other. Like, they can tune other people out. They daydream about each other. They can be in the same room with each other. Like, intuitively connecting, because the third house is more about the mind, right? So they're intuitively in sync. They don't really have to verbally communicate. And I think that what happens, because they tend to want to verbally communicate, but if they're not really good, until they get to really know each other and trust each other, they may not be the best at communication. And what can happen is there could be a lot of miscommunication, because it could be hard. This is a vulnerable spot, and it can kind of be hard to, like, feel like, hey, I met this person, and I'm having this connection or whatever. I'm having these thoughts and everything, and I don't really know if they're thinking the same thing. So I don't really know if I should open up. But really, you're both thinking the same thing. And once you start realizing that, you start letting your guard down, and they become very close. They have inside jokes. They have inside stuff that they know that they don't tell other people. It depends on, what I'm saying, because this is third house, House of Gemini. So they inform each other of stuff. They inform together. They can work like online together, or do broadcasting, or or something, not necessarily broadcasting, but like teaching together. Speaking to others, doing radio, whatever the case may be, together, and make money behind it and stuff like that. They share ideas with each other. Yeah, it's a really good placement to have. Like, I've seen some negative stuff about it, because, like, the negative side, like I said, is the miscommunication. Like, just sometimes saying things that don't need to be said, because they're going to want to talk all the time. And they're going to want to, Even if they try to hide stuff from each other, it's hard to do. So they should practice. I feel like Venus in the third house Synastry should practice intimacy with each other and sharing thoughts with each other. And I know y'all feel like thoughts ain't nothing, but actually it is, because a lot of times we think everything. As people, we think about everything. We think all the time. And if somebody could be in our thoughts, they pretty much are inside of us for real. But I feel like Venus here should practice, Venus in the third house, they should practice Venusian things like sensuality, just like kind of sitting sometimes and looking at each other in the eyes. And you could talk, you're looking at each other in the eyes and just being like, did you miss me today? Yeah, I did. Yeah. I missed you too. Especially when this and this happened, because I just feel like you would have known how to handle the situation. And, I really needed you. You did? Because I would have been there. You should just let me know. I know, but I didn't want to bother you because I know that you was busy. Yeah, but that don't matter, because you know that I'll stop and I'll do, if I could get there, I will stop and I will do whatever I can do for you immediately. It's just looking at each other. Talking, but looking at each other. And creating and tapping in intuitively. Like sometimes just look at each other and don't talk. Connect. Make eye contact. You could do this, okay? Because you communicate with each other. If you're in a room with other people, you could look at each other and be like, okay, know what the other person is thinking. So you could do this. If one person is feeling kind of jealous or like, okay, what's going on? Look at the other person with the eye. Like, okay, I'm not feeling that. You talk to each other mentally, really. Okay, but I feel like this is a good synastry to have. You can see friends here. You can see people open up to true partnership, sharing of ideas, doing things together all the time. And I feel like that could be a negative aspect, because there could be some type of codependency that can form, but you guys can have lots of fun together. And you could probably find people with this compatibility to where like sometimes one is younger than the other, because this is the house of Gemini, and depending on what sign is there. But anyways, I feel like I went long enough, and this has been Venus in the third house synastry. I'm Butterfly to life. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'm gonna be back, because what else am I gonna do?